welcome to Believers IAS Academy. So today we are going to talk about a very interesting and very important topic, which is India's maritime security. So why is this topic in news? So what happened is, a week into India getting presidentship in the UNSC, that is United Nations Security Council, Prime Minister Modi chaired debate on the importance of maritime security. The debate was titled "Enhancing Maritime Security: A Case for International Cooperation." So what you have to understand is, there is this organization which is known as UNCLOS, that is United Nations Convention on the Law of Seas, which creates basically almost all the rules regarding the international waters and what is known as the high seas. So you might be asking and you might be wondering, what is the international waters or what are high seas? So that is the region of the ocean where any country has equal access and freedom of movement. Which means a naval ship of the United States can pass through the international waters in Indian Ocean region without getting permission from any of the neighboring countries. So who decides what is international waters and what are high seas, and where does each country's authority end? So UNCLOS is the organization and the convention which determines where the territorial waters, or what is known as our own territory, maritime territory, ends. So UNCLOS has decided the marine areas into 5 major regions, which is internal waters, territorial sea, contiguous zone, exclusive economic zone, and the high seas. So this is the division. So any body of water which comes within the land boundary is known as internal waters, which includes the lakes, the rivers, and such other bodies of water. So after the seashore, from the seashore to 12 nautical miles, it is what is known as territorial waters. Nautical miles is a unit of measuring distance when it comes to maritime region. So for 12 nautical miles, it is what is known as territorial sea or territorial waters. So it is not just in the sea, also the airspace is considered as Indian territory up to 12 nautical miles from the shore, which means no plane and no ship and no boat can pass through these waters and this airspace without the express permission from the Indian government. What you have to understand is, the internal waters, that is the rivers, the area which comes under the land, is under state, like it is maintained by each state separately. Whatever state comes in that region, it will be maintaining that. The territorial sea is maintained by central government. So beyond that, another 12 nautical miles is what is known as contiguous zone, and 200 nautical miles from the seashore is till that region, it is what is known as exclusive economic zone. So that is where India has the authority to conduct economic activities including fisheries, mining, and such. So beyond the exclusive economic zone is what is known as the international waters or high seas. There no country has any authority. So that is how UNCLOS has divided the marine region. So what has happened in this debate? So what Prime Minister Modi has done is, he has given a 5 principle framework. So what is this framework? That is very important. So the first framework is removing barriers to maritime trade. So what are the barriers when it comes to maritime trade? So barriers include any obstructions when it comes to trade. So this can be due to piracy, this can be due to lack of connectivity, this can be due to tariff and non-tariff barriers, multiple reasons it can come. So how do you tackle this? So what India government has shown is that its initiative, what is known as SAGAR, which is Security and Growth for All in the Region. It is a flagship project by the Indian government to promote security and improve cooperation within the Indian Ocean region. So government has used this as an example to showcase its commitment towards improving maritime trade. So the second principle, okay, well, you also have to understand why Sagar is important. So what India wants to do is India wants to improve its blue economy. Blue economy means the aquatic economy, which includes fisheries and mining of minerals from the aquatic region and as such. So to improve this, India needs better connectivity in the region. So that's why India has launched Sagar initiative, which means it will help in improving the security in the region. It also helps to prevent and give advance notice to natural disasters whenever these things are happening. So another major concern of India as of right now is the increasing presence of China in the Indian Ocean region. So what China is doing is that it is building up ports in the countries in the Indian Ocean region through what is known as Maritime Silk Route. It's trying to recreate an ancient Silk Route which used to extend from ancient China to the ancient Europe through its modern use of technology. So they are building up ports in the region. As you know, the Sri Lankan port of Hambantota was given to China on lease for like due to them being unable to pay back the loan. So this is a major concern for India, since India wants to become what is known as the net security provider in the region. A net security provider is the country or the authority which is able to ensure the security in a particular region. That means in the Indian Ocean region, if anything should happen, that including piracy or natural disasters, Indian Navy is the first body to come to its help, first authority to come to help. So India do not want to vacate this place, and more than that, India do not want China to overcome its Malacca dilemma. So, which is a crucial and strategic target for India when it comes to China due to their aggressive nature. So India can use it as a threat to maintain peace in the region. So India does not want to lose that, which means India does not want China to improve its presence in the Indian Ocean region. So what is the second framework? Maritime disputes should be resolved peacefully. So what are maritime disputes? So maritime disputes are multiple things are there. India and Sri Lanka have issues when it comes to the fishermen from Tamil Nadu, and India has issues with Bangladesh regarding their connectivity also. So every country has issues when it comes to maritime boundaries. So China is having conflict with entire countries including Philippines, Japan, Malaysia, Singapore and all when it comes to their building of multiple islands in the South China Sea. So we do not want these kinds of conflicts to escalate into military conflicts. We do not want them to become armed fights. We want it to be resolved peacefully. So what India is proposing, India's idea is that if these issues can be resolved peacefully, it means an improved relationship within the region, and it also helps in improving the trade in the region. So why? So the third issue and the third framework is threats in the maritime security, which is the major threat is piracy, especially from Somalian pirates, and Indian Navy has played a huge role in protecting ships in the Indian Ocean region when it comes to Somalian pirates. India has been very active in the region in pirate hunting and has helped save multiple ships from the threat of pirates. So India has been doing the role of a net security provider in the region. So what is the fourth step. Another bigger concern, especially in the current climate, is that of the environment. So what is happening is that you have to remember these kinds of data. So if you are able to write it down. So that in 2006, that is 16 years ago, United Nations Environmental Program, that is UNEP, has estimated that each square mile of the ocean has 46,000 pieces of plastic. That to floating plastic. Why is this dangerous? So what happens is that the floating plastic, including fisher nets, can cause death to multiple organisms. How it does? So if it is fishing nets, the organisms like turtles can get caught up in the fishing nets and will strangle to death. More than that, there is something called as the microbeads or microplastics which become ingested and which these fishes consume these microplastics without them knowing, and which can cause death to them. More than that, these plastics can get accumulated in the fish's body and can get transferred to the human body when these fishes are caught and we consume them, and these can get built up in the human body through what is known as biomagnification. And another major concern is that of oil spills. So India and multiple nations in the region have been worried about oil spills for decades. However, we still have not found a way to tackle this issue, and we cannot stop the oil trade, and there are bioremediation techniques, but most of the time they are not cost effective and they are not that easy to achieve also. So what you have to understand is that also another major concern is the pollution done by industries, whereby they discharge their waste products without proper treatment into the sea itself. Okay, so the fifth and the final framework is that of maritime connectivity. So this means India wants to improve the connectivity in the region, especially in the Indian Ocean region. So what they are doing is, there is this project called as the Sagarmala project, whereby India is developing 12 major ports, and India wants to develop them into international standards. Also, what you have to understand is that India has the 16th largest maritime country, which means it has the 16th largest maritime boundary in the world, which is around 7,500 kilometers. Also, why we are pushing this much into maritime trade is that almost 95% of India's international trade by volume and more than 70% by value happens through maritime route. So this is an area where we have to have good and effective policies. So these are the 5 frameworks given in the debate, and when you are able to understand this topic, when you are able to understand why this topic is important, there might be a question about maritime security in the mains. They might ask about the data that we have given in the prelims. So that's why you have to understand why this topic is important and how this affects your examination. Okay, so thank you and see you next week.